Alright guys, so here is my new pack from Hill People Gear, and this was a collaboration with Pout House members for Wright and I's Pout House, I guess, club. And this is it, completely loaded down. Way more weight and way more stuff than what I need, but I was really curious about the yoked harness and how that would perform under a lot of weight for this little pack. So let me take this tripod off and get my camera set up, and I can actually start going over what I have in the pack and what I've got loaded down in it and my reasons why. All right, so you'll have to forgive me for doing this offhand, but I wanted to show you real quick some of the versatility of it. So on the bottom of this, I do have a Slumberjack satellite tarp strapped to the bottom of it. We've been having rain today in Texas, and I brought it out, and of course now the sun's out and it's humid and sweating like crazy. But what I did was I ran one of the legs of my tripod through the cord at the bottom of the pack that has the cord lock on it, just to keep it from falling out if it slides down as I'm walking. And then I just took the other two straps that go across the front and pulled it across the front of the tripod. So, all right, so right off the bat, right here close, I have one of two drum liners that are in my bag. I'll talk about these in a second as to why I'm carrying them, but for now I'm going to set this down and use it. All right, so like I said, this is one of two 55-gallon drum liners that I have in this pack. So we'll start on the outside, and on this side pocket that you can put a water bottle in, I have a pair of leather work gloves, and underneath down here I have a Slumberjack satellite tarp. It's a seal nylon tarp, and it folds up into this pouch. Pouch is pretty big, but when you can put something on the bottom of your pack like this, it works out really well. Nice and big tarp. I can put at least 2 to 3 people underneath it. My whole purpose, before I get ahead of myself, my whole purpose for wanting this pack was it fit a need that I had. I have a Hidden Woodsman day ruck pack that I absolutely love and use a whole lot, but even that, I tend to overpack it and overstuff it and put too much in there. I wanted a pack that I could take with me every day that I wouldn't be tempted to overstuff. And for the purposes of this video, I did overstuff this one just to see how the harness system carried. And I've been hiking around out here and sweating like a pig now for a good 2.5 hours, and it hasn't disappointed me. So that was the reason for getting this bag. And this essentially is going to act as my go bag, or my get home, get to my wife bag. So I've got enough stuff in here right now, fully loaded down, to potentially stay the night in my truck, stay the night close to my truck, or something like that, because chances are I will be in my vehicle. So I had my gloves over here, my tarp on the bottom, and then what I did with my Clean Canteen 40-ounce container, which I have over here, it will fit a 40-ounce, is I just took the tabs here. There's an elastic band here that's like a keeper tab, and I just threaded it through the top of my Clean Canteen just for extra safety, because it will slide in and out. And the reason for that is because I've got a Tokes titanium cup in here, so that I have 2 containers. My whole thinking behind this is that I need to have 2 containers, one I can cook in or make medicine in, or to boil water in and whatnot. On the back side, behind the yoke system back here, I have, in between the back paneling of the bag and the padding here, I have a Thermarest knee pad, which will also work as a pillow if I needed it, or I can fold it up and put it under my hip to give me a little bit extra padding if I'm going to be sleeping on the ground. Behind that, I have an Anchor 20 watt solar panel, so I can charge my devices. So that's everything on the outside of the bag. I'm not going to go over the features of this pack. I can put a description in the box below, or link you to another video, people that do a much better job. But I will just say this is the most comfortable backpack I've ever used. This harness system fits me just perfect. So that's everything that's on the outside. And the differences between this pack and the other Tarahumaras that you might see is not only the colorway, to where we got the Cryptek Highlander on the sides and the Ranger Green in the middle. That'll only be offered to us with this pack. We also were able to get a little Morel Velcro patch panel here with the custom Wright patch that fits it, and we have dual zippers. So the cool thing about this pack too is that if you want to get to stuff at the bottom, like what I did to get this drum liner out, I can just zip it from here to the bottom and stick my hand in there and get it out, instead of having to work all the way through the top and dig through stuff. And then same thing if you just want to get stuff out of the top. So opening it up, this is a knife that I did a review on a little bit ago. At the very top, I've got one of Malcolm's new Possibles pouches. I just got this. I haven't had a chance to really use it a whole lot, but it fits in this bag great. And it's in Cryptek Highlander. And in here, I've got my water filter. It's a Sawyer water, which that goes along with my clean canteen, because inside the clean canteen, I have 2 of the Sawyer pouches stuffed in here. So I now have all these containers stuffed in here. So the second that, if I were to need to, the second that I would come across water, I would fill up both of these bladder pouches, fill up my clean canteen bottle, and then also fill up the biggest canteen that I have, which is my body. So inside the Possibles pouch, I have this Sawyer water filter, I have an orange bandana, and my compass. So I don't really have a lot in there. I could put a lot more in there, but I'm trying not to overkill it, you know. And that's stuff that I'll get to right off the top, right at the very, very top of the pack, that I can get to real quick. These are really nice pouches. It's a 1000 D Cordura. All right, so in this red bag my buddy Clint Buchanan made for me, I've got my first aid, just general stuff. I've got a duct tape on a credit card, a little collapsible Colgate toothbrush, some toothpaste. I've got a pill bottle, multiple pills, ibuprofen, Aleve, Modium AD, got some wet wipes, ferro rod, and a lighter. I do consider fire as part of first aid. All right, so I got another Hidden Woodsman pouch here, and inside this is my fire kit. I've got a Dragonfire Tinderbox Fireball, a piece of chert, a titanium flint striker, roll of birch bark, a steel metal container that I can make charcoal in, cigarette lighter, and the rest of my Toke's titanium cup, the lid and the bail. Takes it off. I take it off so it packs down a lot easier. So, and this is all more than what I would need, but like I said, I wanted to see how this would carry. I've got my backup knife. I'll probably have a knife on my hip, but this is a Mora 2000. It's in stainless, and I reprofiled the spine to be able to strike a ferro rod. And I really like the sheath on it because you can do it left hand or right hand carry. It both snaps in both ways. I have a hank of paracord, a hank of bank line on a carabiner that's snapped into the inside where the water bladder could be snapped into, some big ones, wet one wipes, my Baco folding saw. Inside, or in the bottom, I have a Hidden Woodsman tinder pouch, and inside the tinder pouch I've got a emergency space blanket, paracord, my headlamp with a cable that plugs up to my Anchor solar panel so I can charge devices, and Malcolm was kind enough to give me his signal panel in the last order that I placed with him. So that's kind of the stuff that's at the bottom of my pack that will I'll get into once I would get my shelter in place. And then in the very bottom I've got another drum liner, and the reason why I have 2 drum liners is there's there's just so many uses, but for this particular bag setup, I've got my overhead protection with my tarp. So what I would be using the drum monitors for is I could use one to stuff with debris, to make a mattress, to get me up off the ground when it comes time to sleep. Gives me some comfort, and it also keeps the earth from pulling heat out of my body. And then the other one I can use as a emergency poncho, or I can roll it up and fill it with some debris, and also use it as a pillow. We were fortunate enough with our Pout House bags too to have the Molly backing, and it's also compatible for pouches that have Velcro backing. You can just stick the Velcro backed pouches inside this. And then I've got my Leatherman OHT multi-tool right here. So let me get this stuff packed back in here, and then I will show you a side view of what it looks like on my shoulders and carrying it. All right, so here's how the pack carries. I'm about 6 foot, 230, 240, and I've got really broad shoulders. So the problem I have with a lot of packs is that whenever I put them on, it either wants to pinch my shoulders like this, or it's so wide that I lose movement and I lose the ability to do stuff, because sometimes I'll need to make something real quick or pull something off. And for this harness system, it fits perfectly inside the meat of your shoulders right here and doesn't slide off your back, and it just feels incredible. I've never put on a backpack that feels like this. I'd like to be able to fill a pack by them that is loaded down with 40 or 50 pounds of gear, you know. It just sits really, really nice. So it takes a little bit of adjusting to get it right, but it works great. So like I said, you get a full range of movement. It doesn't cut off anything. The pack doesn't slide off. It doesn't bounce around. I haven't even used the chest strap yet, so that'll tell you something. The one thing that I can already tell will be an issue for me, and it really is with every pack that I own, and it's because of me and how I am. As you can see, I'm sweating. I sweat profusely no matter what I'm doing. I'm in Texas and it's always hot. I'll sweat through all my shirts. So I can tell, because this rides really well, the payoff is it rides really well against your back, but the downside is it's against your back really, really nice. So I'm probably going to be sweating on this and sweating through it, or getting it damp. I know this is a little bit bigger and heavier of a strap system, so I will sweat through that too. But like I said, that's just me. But I appreciate you watching all this, guys. I really enjoy this pack, and I'm going to be putting some miles in with it. And thanks for watching. I hope this helps you out. Have a good one.